What is up, guys? Welcome back to the Lumsden Motorsports Garage. I'm Wade Lumsden. It is currently Wednesday, and we are trying to get ready to go race in Winnemucca this Friday and Saturday. So, got a handful of things to do, but the first thing I want to do is get the car up on the scales so I can kind of see where I finished last weekend off, since I made some adjustments that I really liked. I just kind of want to see where the car ended up and compare that to where I was scaled at before, so I can continue to build off of that. So let's get to work. All right, got my car back up in the air here, and off the scales. Already scaled it. I'm pretty happy with what I saw. My original fear was that I was going too far in one direction, and that's not the case. So I didn't go past where I shouldn't be, right? And when I'm referring to past where I shouldn't be, I'm talking about spring. I could have, if I was loading a particular spring like ridiculously to get it to work, maybe I need to go up in spring. Or if I'm continually unloading, maybe I need to go to a softer spring, that sort of deal. And that's what I was checking when I put it back on the scales, to make sure that I wasn't getting crazy off track and throwing my weights all over the place due to the way that I was moving my loads on my tires. So that's awesome. I'm happy with where it's at. I'm probably actually going to leave it where it's at. I'm going to do some general maintenance stuff. I know I got to do an oil change. I should probably maintenance the rear end, because I haven't done that in a couple races. I think it's been like 5 races since I put new fluid in there. Same thing with the transmission, so I know I'm going to need to put so a lot of oil changes is what's coming up here. Engine oils, I got 3 or 4 races on it. So yeah, it's time for a lot of maintenance, items. And then if you look at my right front tire here, there ain't a whole lot left of it. So I know that I'm going to end up needing to do tires. I put a brand new right rear tire on it, and it had a pretty good left rear tire on it, and I think those tires are still in pretty good shape. I do not have a groover or a siper or anything like that, so I'm going to be changing tires rather than re-grooving the tires, which this right front tire that I just showed you is totally capable of being re-grooved, but I don't have that capability. So one of the other things I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be taking off my shocks and checking those, make sure they're still moving the way that I want them to move, and all the other regular maintenance stuff, and we'll get ready to go race. So if I find anything big or major, I'll let you know. I do know, however, if you were watching the past videos, I think it was the first night at Lovelock, my tack came unplugged. My tachometer, the wire that goes into the distributor, came unplugged, and I plugged it back in, but it was like super tight, and I think it was from when I was messing around with my brake adjuster. So I'm going to end up looking at that to see if it's like wrapped up in it. I don't know what happened there. I don't know. I'll be looking at it. We'll take a look at it, and try to get that fixed, because that's an important thing to be able to do. Be able to adjust your brakes. So, and I like to have my tack plugged in. Sometimes if you have a tack wire that starts falling out and it's not like all the way out or whatever, it can cause your car to run like poo. So we definitely want to make sure that when it's plugged in, it stays plugged in. So all right, I'm gonna have at this maintenance stuff. All right, try to show you something here that I obviously messed up on. So when I was at the races this weekend, one of the conditions I had was in a heat race, I'd go into the corner, car would set good, and then as soon as I'd hit mid corner, you know, phase 2 of the corner, mid corner, the car would just completely not unload, but like completely lose traction in the rear and just whip loose. So what I thought it was, and it seemed to help when I made this adjustment, was that my right rear chain here was too tight. So I went ahead and I crawled under the car and I loosened the crap out of it. I just almost as loose as I could make it, and called it good. Well, that's all good and great, except for right now it's moving and the shock is fully extended. So if this were to completely unload, that chain would not stop it, and it would bottom out that shock, or completely extend that shock and possibly damage the shock. So what I'm going to do now is get my jack under there, jack this up just a tiny bit, and then make it to where the chain grabs right there, so it's at its loosest point, but doesn't let the shock bottom out. Now I like, in the past I was keeping a really tight right rear chain, because I just feel like on super dry slick tracks that was helping me, you know, keep everything over there. But with the new setup that I tried, that did not work for me at all. So I'm gonna go ahead and tighten this chain back up. But the other thing, while I was looking, the bolts right here, when I was jacking it up and down, there's a little bit of a wiggle in this mount here. So I'm gonna take a look at that. Hopefully it just needs to be tightened back up, and should be good to go, I hope. Well, I was being successful, and I got the oil drained out of the engine, and been kind of slow going since I took the plug out. I'm not really 100% sure why, but it's been taking me a little while to get small stuff done. All right, oil is changed. I did a little bit of maintenance on my carburetor, which included greasing up right here. There's little plastic cams under here. You can see the grease. They get, you know, dust and dirt in there, and then it wears out that plastic cam, and that's what, you know, affects the timing of your squirters, right? So make sure you take care of those, because, you know, dust and dirt's like sandpaper on plastic. They'll flatten out or get a groove in them, and then they won't be as responsive as you want it to be. But I also looked in here, and I was correct on my tack wire here, which is something that I had to repair. I didn't tie it up with one more zip tie right here, and it allowed it to get down. And if you look way down there, kind of where that little clamp is, that's where my brake adjuster is. And my brake adjuster kind of flops a little bit when it gets more towards the front brake side. It kind of gets floppy, and it swung up, grabbed a hold of that, and just yanked that wire out. So now it's got a couple extra zip ties on it, and I'm glad I looked, because there was actually a couple other wires down here. Same thing was happening. I got those tied up now too, which is awesome. What else did I do here? Oh yeah, one of those other general maintenance things sitting out here on my garbage can is my air cleaner. In the process of cleaning that. It's a couple step process with a detergent and, you know, rinsing it and then re-oiling it and all that happy stuff. So I got that going on, but until then, this one right here is my old one. You can see it's been a little abused. That was my one from last year. So what I usually do is I keep my one from last year to put on the car, to move it around if I have to, with an air cleaner, while the other one is, you know, drying or whatever. So, whew, and it's so hot out here, I had to steal the box fan from inside the house and bring it out here to help cool me off. But oil change, transmission oil changed. I checked the rear end differential, and it's good. The fluid smelt good, so I think we're gonna race one more weekend on it before we change it. But yeah, things are coming along. One of the next things that I got to do, and I keep forgetting about it, and I'm glad I finally wrote it down. If I look in here, there is this little pleat. That's a little rock guard, and there's only one pop rivet holding it. The rest of them have popped off. That's from when I took a massive shot in the door, actually a couple times. The first time broke it loose, the second time broke off some more pop rivets, but you know, from getting doored, they ended up getting in there and popping those loose. So I gotta go in there, drill those out, and mount it with a couple more pop rivets. But it is Thursday. I have got to get finished up here if I am going to be able to make it to Winnemucca tomorrow, because Winnemucca is from here about 3.5 hour tow for me. It kind of stinks, you know. The speed limit most of the way is 80 miles an hour, but my poor truck just won't do it, so I pretty much go 65 the whole way. Is what it is. Poor thing's tired. But all right, I got a handful more things to maintenance up here, and yeah, we'll almost be ready to go race. All right, starting to get dark. Got a little bit of twilight left. Car's ready to load. Gonna get my transponder that's been charging put back on the car, and then I'm gonna get it loaded. Car's all loaded. Now I'm just gathering up all the things that I need to load up into the trailer to take with me. Hey, look at that. This time I got the compressor and the tire pressure gauge. But yeah, just stacking up everything I need to take with me. Still got to finish the cleaning process on my air filter over there, and then I can get it all oiled up, and then that'll go in the trailer and be ready to put on when I get to the track. So fingers crossed that I can get out of work in time to make it to the track on time to go race. But yep, just gonna keep gathering up the last minute stuff that I need. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Go and join the Lumsden Motorsports Facebook page. Check out the merch, and any questions, comments, concerns down below. And yeah, let's go racing. We'll catch you guys next time.